In case you weren't aware, the nickel 3-3 cub is back as a prominent defensive meta in Madden 24. This defense has always done a good job of getting pressure off the edge with contained looping, but this year there's actually the added benefit of a B-gap blitz that a lot of players are running. Today, we're going to take a look at one of the coverages in this formation that, to be honest with you, is a little confusing for a lot of players. Believe it or not, the cover 4 show 2 is a match-based defense, but it doesn't really play match in the conventional way that many other match coverages behave. So today's video, we're going to deep dive and figure out exactly what type of defense is this cover 4. Now, if you enjoyed this type of content, make sure you guys are subscribed right here to the Zam Madden YouTube channel. I drop content Monday through Friday in the mornings to help keep you guys on top of the meta and how to counter it with shorts in the afternoon. Sometimes it's a bomb setup, sometimes it's a blitz formula, sometimes it's a blocking formula. We're always going to try to improve your game with our long form and short form content. So make sure you guys are plugged in right here and hit that notification bell. So in order to go through this, we are going to obviously turn on the zone coverage setting for match. Now, the best way to check how this is going to behave is to first go in and choose a formation that runs traditional match. Of course, you guys know nickel over G is my favorite. Now, here's the easy way to figure out how match coverage is going to behave. If you choose a trips formation or a side that has 3 receiving options to one side of the quarterback and then the other 2 to the other side, you're going to be able to notice that there is a little bit of a tell in the way that the coverage behaves. So what I like to do is a smoke route, vertical combo. Now with cover 4 quarters, the thing that you're gonna notice is that the outside defensive back, so the glowing orange X on the far outside right, is going to drop into coverage in quarters. So you're gonna see here, we snap this ball. He basically is going to look for somebody to bracket. And the reason for that is that the B receiver did not go vertical. Now, what we're gonna do here is contrast that against cover 4 palms. So we're going to call the palms defense. And what we're going to do here is set up the exact same route combination. So a smoke route, a vertical, and a vertical. When we snap this ball, notice how the B receiver is now manned up by the outside quarter. This is what is called special check. This is a defensive call that allows the outside defensive back to always man up the B receiver no matter what route he runs. So if I were to put the B receiver on a drag, put right bumper on a streak and use a corner route, you're going to see that this allows for, on the trip side, the slot corner to play CeeDee Lamb vertical and the safety to take Evan Ingram. This allows us to play match coverage without involving the backside of our defense. So I snap this ball and you'll see that the B receiver on the drag is matched and we've got the other matching on the other 2 players accordingly. So this is one of my favorite things about Palm's defense. So now that we understand how those 2 coverages behave, let's go ahead and run that exact same test here out of the nickel 3-3 cub. So the first thing you're going to notice is that we have the exact same zones on the field, just a different defensive alignment. 2 quarter flats, 1 3 receiver hook, 4 matching vertical zones. And when we snap this ball, watching Richard Sherman on the outside, you see that he goes to look for somebody to play match on. However, we have a serious breakdown on our 3rd option on this play. So the first thing you're going to notice right here is that this is very clearly a quarters derivative, not a palms derivative. If it were palms, Richard Sherman would not have turned around to look for work on this play. The other thing that is a real concern here on this play is that there is no matching behavior of the backside safety that you normally would see in a quarters defense. He doesn't come all the way across the formation and stay in match coverage. This allows that 3rd receiving option to break wide open for a potential touchdown whenever you're dealing with this defense. So I'm going to show this to you again. If we were to call quarters and I were to put B on a smoke, right bumper on a streak, and I were to basically just snap this football, you're going to see that that safety on the left side should have done a better job in matching this route. So the 3rd receiving option is going to nearly always be wide open in this particular defense. So like I said, this is a really, really weird matching zone. But there are other tests that we can undertake here to determine if there are different coverage rules. So one of the other things that a lot of players don't know about the Palms defense is that when you run this against a 2 receiver formation, so for instance, spread, what this allows you to do is play kind of a cover 2 trap, meaning that if I were to send the A receiver to the flat and put the B receiver on a fade, the outside corner that is lined up over the B receiver is going to jump the throw in the flat and pass off the sideline vertical to the safety. So you're going to see here how that behaves. It basically behaves like a cover 2 trap. So this is a coverage tell that exists in palms. So naturally, let's figure out if this exists when we call the 3-3 cub cover 4 show 2. We already saw that it behaved like quarters against trips. So we're not anticipating much of a difference here in terms of whether or not it's going to play a palms type rule against the same concept. So again, here, I'm going to snap this ball. You're going to see that there is no cover 2 trap style. So this is more like a quarters defense. Again, the primary issue that's going to exist with this though, is that the weak side safety just doesn't get over to the passing strength. So let's go and contrast what we saw just a moment ago with the quarters behavior being weird and broken out of a formation like big nickel over G. So once again, I'm going to call a trips formation, 3 receivers to one side, 2 receiving options to the other. And I am going to put A on a corner, right bumper on a streak, B on a smoke. And we know that in quarters, because there is no special check, Richard Sherman is going to turn around and run deep to bracket something. We should see the left side safety cheating over to the right side to help make this work. We snap this ball and look at how this behaves. It's still broken. So this is one of the primary issues that exists with quarters defense in this game. Unfortunately, against trips type formations, it just does not get over there to handle routes that flood the sideline. This is why palms is the premier defense, in my opinion, against trips, and why this particular matching defense in the 3-3 cub does not have a chance to really succeed against trips. And this is why you're going to see most players turn their zone coverage to default and probably run zone drops to make this work. But there are some things that this match coverage in the 3-3 cub does get correct, namely the backside solo check. So anytime we have a 3-by-1 formation, which is the case here with 3 to the right, 1 receiver to the left, tailback in the backfield, the side with the solo receiver gets what's called solo check, meaning that if I were to put the X receiver on a drag and the Y receiver on a wheel, what we would actually get is something more to the effect of the backside X corner in man-to-man on the X receiver and the backside quarter flat, which is Clay Matthews, in man-to-man on the running back. This is why this safety is able to, in theory, cheat over towards the trip side. So if I were to reset this play and run this exact call here, you will see that the solo check does behave. Now, of course, there comes risk with this because you could just lob a wheel against a linebacker in man-to-man. After all, running back wheels do beat man-to-man, but this is correct. This particular coverage call is correct. So how do you, if you want to run match out of the 3-3 cub, actually make this work? Well, my recommendation is going to be that you're probably going to want to use the backside safety. And if you're using the backside safety, is the nickel 3-3 cub truly a viable blitz defense? I would argue that you're gonna have to change some things up. So let's give you guys an example of what I would do. Let's go and combine our coverage here with maybe kind of a blitz setup. So right here, the running back is to the left. We're gonna want to shift our defensive line to the right, crash it to the right, and probably go ahead and, blitz our linebackers with a QB contain. Now, traditionally, we would need that backside quarter flat. It's now in a contain loop. So what I would probably do is man up the middle linebacker on the running back. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to play, instead of a backside quarter, I'm going to play a backside third. So what we're going to do is we're going to put Charvarius Ward into an outside third. The reason for this is that you don't want a wheel route just being lobbed, beating the middle linebacker. So in this case, you've got that outside third. What I'm going to do is let that receiver that's on the backside, if he runs vertical, it's guarded by the deep zone. If he decides to run underneath, that's fine. We can live with the results. We still have a quarter flat on the right side that can help out in that flat. Now, here's what we're going to do. Because we have a responsibility that's not being carried out by the weak side safety, we are going to manually take control of this player, meaning that let's say that we just want to leave this guy here. We're going to come down and do our mug technique here with this guy. What this is going to do is this is going to allow for us, if our opponent does run some sort of flood combo, if we see that player release vertically off the line, we know that's our responsibility because that safety is not going to match it. So we can come out here, we can mug, snap the ball, got our B gap, and if he runs vertical, this is our responsibility. Now, the other thing you could do in theory is put the outside corner on the far right into a third as well. This would give you a little bit of flexibility to better defend corner routes, especially because Sherman's not really matching here. This would then give you the ability to kind of run this as like a pseudo match. You got safeties kind of playing the matching rules here, but you don't necessarily have to lurk on Kraus at this point. So now in this particular situation, you actually could, in theory, go ahead and set up your blitz. You've got thirds on both sides. And, again, this guy on the backside, maybe you man up the running back. You can do whatever you want, really, at the end of the day. But now, at least when they snap this ball, if they try to throw a corner route, you should have Richard Sherman with a KO ability, at least able to turn around rather than matching something for no reason. This is the issue with the matching behavior in the 3-3 Cub. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, kind of breaking down what exactly this does correctly from a match standpoint. This can be valuable to you. As I've done before, talked about how to use zone drops with match. Guys, go back and watch some of my early content from the fall. It shows how to run zone drops, but reset them and then turn them back on the fly. Sometimes you're going to want match. Other times you're going to want zone drops. And I think you could do that pretty well out of this defense while also providing that blitz look that a lot of players struggle with. But that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you guys later this afternoon. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck.